Good morning, dear students. Let's begin our social science class. Today, we are continuing with our first chapter of history, that is nationalism in India. It's my first video lecture to you all, and I greet you in your new standard. This is our third chapter, and we are starting from page number 53. The contents for today are Introduction, Effects of First World War on India, the idea of Satyagraha, the organization of Satyagraha movements by Mahatma Gandhi, and then the Rowlatt Act. So let's start, and the last is the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So let's start with the introduction. As we all know that India and many other colonies, there was a growth of modern nationalism. It was due to the anti-colonial movement, and people, they realized their unity and they started to fight against the nationalism. They started to fight against the dominance that was imposed on them by the colonial governments that were ruling over their countries. And even in our country, the Congress under Mahatma Gandhi tried to force the groups together within the one movement, but here the unity did not emerge without the conflict. So let's read the introduction of this chapter. In India, the growth of modern nationalism is intimately connected to anti-colonial movement. People realized their unity in the process of struggle against colonialism, and all of them fought together to get rid of colonial domination. Now let's study about the hardship of the people that they faced during this colonial period. Now when the First World War was there, it created a new economic and political situation, and that time the income tax was very high and it was introduced, and in 1913 to 1918 the prices for some common things like bread also doubled, and that is it led to extreme hardship for the common people or the poor people. And also in the villages, the all the villagers or the youth were called to supply for the soldiers, and that is the forced recruitment, and this caused a widespread anger. And after that, crops also failed in 1920 to 1921, and it caused an acute shortages of food, and this was also accompanied by an influenza which was an epidemic in the whole country. And then according to the census that we calculate of 1921, 12 to 13 million people perished as a result of famine and epidemic. Now, what is the meaning of forced recruitment? It is a process by which the colonial state forced the people to join the army. It is a very important question, that is, what were the effects of First World War in India in economic and political front? It has been asked many times in the board examination. The war created a new economic and political situation. It led to a huge increase in defense expenditure, which was financed by war loans and increasing taxes. Custom duties were now raised and the income tax were introduced. And through the war, the prices increased that were doubling between 1913 to 1918, and it also led to common hardship and extreme hardship for the common people. And the villagers were also called upon to supply the soldiers, and the forced recruitment in the rural areas caused widespread anger, and this was also accompanied by an influenza epidemic, and by 1921 13 million people died according to the census. Now let's discuss about the idea of Satyagraha. So when Mahatma Gandhi returned to India back in January 1915 from South Africa, he had performed there a racist regime with a novel method of mass agitation, and it was called Satyagraha. And the idea of Satyagraha was different according to Mahatma Gandhi. It emphasized the power of truth, and it also needed to search for truth. Now it was not necessary to fight with the oppressor, and it was a complete non-violent path. And it was also not that we have to seek attention or we should be aggressive. Either a satyagraha should be non-violent in order to win the battle, and also it should be done by appealing to the conscience of the oppressor, and also that we should not persuade people or force people to see the path of truth. They should see themselves. They should be persuaded, neither they should be forced by use of violence. And this was Mahatma Gandhi believed, that is the dharma of non-violence could unite all the nations. Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in 1915, successfully doing mass agitation in the South Africa. The idea of Satyagraha emphasized the power of truth and need to search for truth. It suggested that if the cause was true, then the physical force was not necessary to fight with the oppressor. Without seeking vengeance, or a Satyagrahi could win the battle by choosing the path of non-violence. This could be done by appealing to the conscience of the oppressor. People, including oppressors, had to be persuaded to see the path of truth instead of forcing them to accept the truth. After arriving in India, Mahatma Gandhi successfully organized Satyagraha movement in various places. Now, this is a very important question. When Mahatma Gandhi returned to India, that time he organized Satyagraha movements in various places, and it is given on history NCRT page number 55. The first one was the Satyagraha movement, that is in Bihar, in Champaran in 1916. Then in 1917 he organized in Kheda district of Gujarat. That was by the crop failure and plague epidemic in Kheda. They could not pay the revenue and were demanding that revenue collection be relaxed. And then in 1918 they went to Ahmedabad to organize Satyagraha movement amongst the cotton mill workers over there. And in Champaran it was due to the oppressive plantation system. So now let's read it. After arriving in India, Mahatma Gandhi successfully organized Satyagraha movement in various places. In 1917, he travelled to Champaran, Bihar to inspire the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. Then in 1917, he organized a Satyagraha to support the peasants of Kheda district of Gujarat. Affected by crop failure and a plague epidemic, the peasants of Kheda could not pay the revenue and were demanding that the revenue collection be relaxed. Then in 1918, Mahatma Gandhi went to Ahmedabad to organize a Satyagraha movement amongst the cotton mill workers. Now let's discuss Rowlatt Act. Now this act was very important, and it was not actually released by Indians, but it was proposed Rowlatt Act, that was in 1919. And the Imperial Legislative Council, it was actually in Hurry. The Indian members of that legislative assembly were opposing, they were unitedly opposing the publishing of this Rowlatt Act, yet Imperial Legislative Council proposed it, and it gave government enormous powers so that they can suppress all the political activities which are going around and the unions that are formed by people, and they have the power to do it. Then Mahatma Gandhi, in order to stop this Rowlatt Act and its implication on the Indian society, he went to Hartal on 6 April, and as a result the rallies were organized. Also workers went on strike, all the shops were closed, and also popular upsurge alarmed, and also that scared of line communication like railway, telegraph were disrupted. British administration decided to clamp down on nationalists, and then the local leaders were picked up from Amritsar. Mahatma Gandhi was barred from entering Delhi, and that is they were sent to jails. And then on 10 April, police in Amritsar fired upon a peaceful procession, and this was that martial law was imposed and General Dyer took the command, and this led to a Jallianwala Bagh massacre. First, let us read this. Emboldened with this success, Gandhiji in 1919 decided to launch a nationwide satyagraha against the proposed Rowlatt Act. So Gandhiji had released the Satyagraha because the Rowlatt Act was passed by or was proposed by Imperial Legislative Council. This act had been hurriedly passed to the Imperial Legislative Council despite the united opposition of the Indian members. It gave the government enormous powers to repress the political activities and also allowed the detention of political prisoners without trial for 2 years. Mahatma Gandhi wanted non-violent civil disobedience against such unjust laws, which would start with the Hartal on 6 April. Rallies were organized in various cities. Workers went on strike in railway workshop, and the shops were closed down. Alarmed by the popular upsurge and scared that the lines of communication such as railways and telegraph would be disrupted, the British administration decided to clamp down on the nationalists. Means they started to arrest the nationalists. Local leaders were picked up from Amritsar, and Mahatma Gandhi was barred from entering Delhi. On 10 April, the police in Amritsar fired upon a peaceful procession, provoking widespread attacks on the banks, post offices, and the railway stations. Martial law was imposed, and General Dyer took the command. And it led to the formation of a very huge massacre that happened at Jallianwala Bagh. Now, what happened at Jallianwala Bagh that we are studying now? Actually, it was the time when some people had came to attend a national meeting which was held over there, and some people had came over there to celebrate their annual Baisakhi festival, and some had came there to protest against the government new repressive measures. Now, being from outside the city, they were unaware of the martial law because of the Rowlatt Act opposition by the Indians, and hence the General Dyer, he entered the area, he blocked the exit, and then he fired upon the crowds, which killed hundreds of them. And his object was to produce a moral effect, to create in the minds of Satyagrahi a fear of terror and awe. Then, as the news of Jallianwala Bagh spread, the results were hazardous. There were strikes, clashes in police, and also the government buildings were attacked. And then, as government would respond to it, they responded it with a brutal repression, and they also beat many of them ruthlessly. And also they need to do salam salute to all the sahibs, and people were flogged, and villages that were around Gujranwala in Punjab, which is now in Pakistan, were bombed. Seeing violence spread, Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement of Satyagraha. That was due to the publishing of the Rowlatt Act by the Imperial Legislative Council. Now let's read it. On 13th April, the infamous means which was causing a massacre, Jallianwala Bagh incident took place. On that day, a large crowd gathered in the enclosed ground of Jallianwala Bagh. Some came to protest against the government's new repressive measures. Others had came to attend the annual Baisakhi fair. Being from outside the city, many villagers were unaware of the martial law that had been imposed. Dyer entered the area, blocked the exit points, and opened fire on the crowd, killing hundreds. His object, as he declared later, was to produce a moral effect, to create in minds of Satyagrahis a feeling of terror and awe. As the news of Jallianwala Bagh spread, crowds took to the streets in many North Indian towns. There were strikes, clashes with the police, and attacks on the government buildings. The government responded with a brutal repression, seeking to humiliate and terrorize people. Satyagrahis were forced to rub their noses on the ground and crawl on the streets and do salam or salute to all the sahibs. People were flogged, and villages that were around the Gujranwala in Punjab, now in Pakistan, were bombed. Seeing violence spread, Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement. So this was the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, which was infamous, which took place in Punjab, and the results were also there. And in those results, the response of the British government also took place, and the final result was that Mahatma Gandhi called off that Satyagraha movement. That's all for today, students. Please mark all the answers in your book, write them in your copies. These are important 3-mark and 5-mark questions in the board examinations, and this is the most important topic that we have discussed now. Thank you and have a nice day.